words of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of all our hearts rise like sweet incense to you, O God. May we be challenged and convicted to keep Christ in our minds, Christ on our lips, and Christ in our hearts. Amen. So I was having some trouble getting going this week with this message, and then, struggling with the text a bit, and then one word changed, and everything started to flow, and I was thankful. A different word, not the same word that was tripping me, a different word was giving grief to the Bible study group on Monday morning. For them, it was the word worry. So let's be clear right from the start. I do not think that Jesus is telling us not to have concern for things or people. Okay? We can't care for people or be loving if we don't feel concern for them. So, no, the worry Jesus is warning us about in Matthew 6 is more than just being anxious. It's okay to be anxious about something. He's teaching us something deeper. He's teaching us about the dangers of being overly preoccupied with things, about being absorbed by them, about being obsessed by them. Care and concern are healthy. Preoccupation and obsession are not. When Jesus says, don't worry, he's really talking about kind of that general state of anxiety and disquiet that insidiously sneaks into our being and starts to ruin our life. That's the real soul-sucking stuff. That's the worry that kills. I guess it's always been a problem, or he wouldn't have taught it, but it sure seems like we've got a nasty case of it these days. We need this teaching more than ever. I think you'd agree that we live in a fairly hyper-anxious and worried kind of culture. Why do you think that is? What fuels this feeling? The media is one, I think. You can't turn on a TV or pick up a newspaper without being inundated with doom and gloom from every corner of the world. Commercials and advertisements are constantly telling us that we're not good enough, or pretty enough, or thin enough, or wealthy enough, or smell good enough, or whatever. And judging by the stuff that we buy, we believe them. Many things. We can even become paralyzed by it all. Maybe we're in such an anxious culture because we've patently refused to follow Matthew 6, verse 33. Seek God first. Make the primary goal of your life seeking God, and all the rest of it works out so much better. Seek ye first. See, the trick seems to be in figuring out what seeking means. But even that word seeking is anxiety producing, because seeking is an action verb. The NRSV Bible, the one you've read from earlier, suggests the word striving instead. Well, that's just as bad. Seeking, striving. Oh no, what if I'm doing it wrong? What if my efforts to seek God fall short? What if my striving isn't strong enough or thorough enough? And boom, we're right back to being paralyzed by worry again. So remember I said I discovered one word and it all changed for me. The word came when I looked at a different version of the Bible called the Message translation. I want you to hear the whole passage from the Message. So I'm going to reread the entire reading because it's really, really helpful to hear it. The Message is a very unique translation. It offers in a very contemporary, paraphrased kind of way. Not great for really detailed scripture study in certain ways, but for getting some meaning, it can be really brilliant. And this is one of those brilliant passages. Matthew 6, 25 to 33 from the Message. If you decide for God, living a life of God worship, it follows that you don't fuss about what's on the table at mealtimes or whether the clothes in your closet are in fashion. There's far more to your life than the food you put in your stomach, more to your outer appearance than the clothes that hang on your body. Look at the birds, free and unfettered, not tied down to a job description, careless in the care of God. And you count far more to God than birds? Has anyone, by fussing in front of the mirror, ever gotten taller by so much as an inch? I've got to jump in there. I love that image. The more familiar phrase for us is about time, right? Can anyone, by worrying, add even 1 hour to your life? But the problem with that is we think we actually can add hours to our life. It's just a matter of time management. But Jesus is talking about something much deeper here. And the message captures it so beautifully. Did you hear what he said? Anyone, by fussing in front of it with getting, so you can respond to God